already hard. Now, you see, I had no idea what time it is. I meant to post this like hours and hours and hours ago so you can see it. So it was my bad. I was gonna have it so you can read it, and then, like, I don't know, maybe have an extra day to think on this, but I don't think you need that much anyway, and it's all about the divine timing anyway, and not really the point. I'm sorry if adding that clip to the front is kind of catchy, right? Here's the thing, though. When I saw that shit, and I didn't even click on it, I swear to God, I did not see this short anywhere on my screen. It was like I had a tab on top of the screen, right? And the short was loaded already on it. So I guess George made sure I could see it, right? More confirmation, huh? And that right there just confirmed everything I had been suspecting here. Because like that, like, I don't mean to dish you here, but you look like shit. Like, you never looked like that, like, ever. And I've been going down a baby monster rabbit hole with all these different, like, Beamon health things and the shorts. Like, I've seen just about every fucking short people have made of you over the last 2-3 months here. Right, so that legitimately, like, wouldn't concern the hell out of me if I didn't know what was causing it. And it's exactly what I told you. It's going to get worse and worse and worse for you until you finally do what you must, right? Here's the thing, though. Like, I'm going to loop back to that and how it is relevant here. But there is a short-ish lesson I'm trying to teach the class here, because I realize a pretty, I do believe, apt explanation as to, like, a metaphor on free will and how it applies to how God acts. And specifically, like, people say, if God was real and if he was omnipotent and omniscient, then surely he should be able to prevent this, blah, blah, blah. Why do bad if you all good? Type of really ignorant 3D based lines of logic. And I think if anyone's being the least bit intellectually honest, they cannot actually argue against it. I'm over explaining. My bad. This is going to be really long. I'm sorry. I'll try not to be too verbose. That's free will, right? Free will does not exist as most people seem to think it does, okay? Any decent psychologist will tell you this, but, like, there is no way to escape the circumstances of your birth, right? There is something about, your country, the time of the day, the weather, the social climate, there's so many things that even in this realm affect your ability to make truly neutral decisions, right? Now you add in the 5D stuff and it's literally impossible. So, free will out there. But you said we have free will. We do have free will. Free will does exist, right? And that's what I'm trying to explain here, right? Especially here, I wanted to posit something. Let us say that we are living in a simulation, because we are living in a simulation. Like, you could literally consider, like, God, the guy behind the giant quantum super cosmic computer that is running this universe biggest game of Sims, as in the computer is whole universe and the guy can blah blah blah, right? Right. So everything is a giant game of Sims, and before, or I don't know how Sims actually works. I've never played it myself, but like, you design all the different elements you want to design, like the planets, the laws of physics, the individual creatures and humans, and because God is so omniscient within his realm, outside of time, and he's omniscient because literally he's operating from a higher dimension, and he's all the energy that exists. God is everything. Like literally, we are all from God, and the key to your own salvation is that you have all the answers. You have all the power already in your DNA, dormant, and by raising your vibration, we can all come together and we can institute heaven and earth, blah, 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 all right? But, okay, so he can design all these different unique characters however he wants to do them, right? And let's just say there is a certain goal of this version of the game. I mean, I don't know. They're all goals within Sims to hit right. And let's say he is, I guess, how you could say, the most pro person ever at these games. Because he's, again, God, right? So he can set up this game however he needs to set it up to get the sort of result he wants to have, which is, in fact, a reality in which human pleasure is maximized because we are all up source, and any good you feel, God also feels. Any pain you feel, God also feels. So anytime you think God is just punishing this, poor little orphan girl with super cancer or whatever, right? That's so unfair. Why? Oh, why? Well, first, fair doesn't really exist either because of the same reason free will doesn't really exist either, right? That's the thing. Like, it's a farce. Our human limited frame of reference doesn't let whatever, right? Okay. So that is to say, like, he can set up all these elements for this game. He could have the most perfect, strat ever, and if you were in the higher dimensions with him, you would be able to see how everything is supposed to lay out over the many, many millions and billions of years and lifetimes and karmic cycles, because literally no one ever really dies, okay? Oh, I shouldn't use that word. No one ever truly goes unalive. You either have balanced out your karmic cycles, and then you pass on, and then you can choose to ascend, in which point maybe people come back. It's like light workers and such. Or you can just try it again from the jump, But otherwise, you're just going to be recycled indefinitely here because they need you to go through all these cycles because they suck on your energy. These vacuum things, all these Metatron things, they're real. Not the point of this video. Right, anyway, so you can set all that up. And it could literally minimize the overall bad crap and maximize the good set, and could in fact be the speed run strat, like frame perfect to institute heaven on earth, because that is, at the end of the day, the chosen one's mission, okay? We are here to institute heaven on earth, in which these things of resources and money and all this and that shit is like pretty much irrelevant here, in a sense, right? Because once we've ascended as a planet to the new earth, like all these problems we have in 3D are going to be gone, right? All that shit, right? So he could literally have the perfect plan to maximize everything good, blah, 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 right? But because this is a simulation, free will has to exist, okay? Because if it didn't, this is basically like fancy PowerPoint. It's like making some crappy movie, it's very easy to simulate a simulation than it is to make an actual simulation, right? But, that's just a movie, right? I don't know, a movie can be impactful, but it's not the same, right? So, and because this free will can exist, then a bunch of possibilities that otherwise would not be possible become possible. And that's why the bad shit happens, alright? If you are going to give people the ability to choose their own fate, as it were, then, like, of course, some of them are going to go against you by nature of the call, right? But once he's put all the options he wants for the rules and made all the profiles for everyone and every little thing, and he has everything lined up perfectly like he wants to have this frame perfect strat ready to go and press it. Now he gets to see how exactly it pays out and learn from that, right? But if he's up here answering prayers the way a large proportion of believers seem to think he should be able to, right? Like, again here, right? If he's up here trying to break the options he's already selected because of one little prayer each and every time, well, then it ceases to be a simulation. It's going to turn into a movie again and defeat the purpose, right? Or just straight up crash out the profile because you're up here fucking with the admin privilege, right? So it's just like he can't do that, right? I mean, he could alter the plan here to, I guess, appease a certain person or whatever, right? But then he got to adjust the plan, and it's like, it's already a perfect plan. So, of course, he cannot actually do that. And I know that I did not perfectly convey what I was trying to convey. I'm sorry, I haven't really slept here for a good minute. I don't crash out real soon and once I'm done with this shit. Okay, yeah, so that is why, bad things happen. That is why I say free will works kind of like this, because God has a specific plan encoded in every person's DNA that will tell them what exactly they're meant to do. And if you're aligned to God, you are going to know this. As you go through the process of connecting to God, that's what you're going to be drawn to more and more and more and more and more. And that's exactly what happened to me. Because when I was doing the hard work of watching all these prophetic quantum energy videos right in the beginning, I did two things. I watched two fucking things 24/7 for weeks on end. I would watch these quantum physics things and all these prophetic videos, and I would also watch give us up over and over and over and over and over. And I did not understand why I was doing this for a really long time. Right? But I didn't want to answer. Anyway. That's not really the point. Okay, so we explain what free will is. And we explain how it kind of plays into free will. And I say free will does exist here because in my case, this was a particular bad point for me, right? Because I'm so acute in what I can sense here, I'm getting these messages way stronger than it should be down the line. And that's like, oh, sorry, buddy, you're just so good. Suffering from success, right? Right? But here's the thing, man. What would happen is I would go through these cycles where I'm thinking one thing is happening because of the way I'm interpreting these energies. But as I work through all these blocks and as I up level, I find myself at peace with my situation as it is, right? And I'm like, oh, cool, for a second, right? And then something random would pop up in the energy that would just piss me all the way off. Usually it would be some sort of message that would just be telling me, do something that you're actively doing already. And if you don't, and remember, I'm going to go to you just a little bit further, just a little bit further, just a little bit further. Like a fucking YCMA, I think. IMC. Swim instructor that is just like folding it in. Oh yeah, don't actually teach them anything directly, just expect him to figure it all himself on pure willpower and grit, and that's kind of basically what happened to me, right? So I would be super irritated, and that inevitably would lead me to go down a rabbit hole that'll help me up level in my ability to be okay with more and more bullshit as I go on, right? As I up level, right? And this was getting worse and worse, right? I was saying that I was going. It was getting worse and worse each and every day, right? Because it was, right? It was. I knew that. I predicted this. I say, you know, my great fear was that this shit would go all the way down to the wire, the last day of the year, and then I would get the message on my, you know, however, like the last second for me here or whatever, and it was until, so it was going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until I finally got it, right? But then I realized something, like early today, like, oh man, it's been like a couple of days since I really had my latest true irritant. I should be getting something to disrupt me by now, certainly, right? But that was the thing. I realized for the last couple of days, I've been absolutely chill with everything, right? I get these messages from you, and it's really enduring because, I don't know, I just know that it just feels so much more real. And it's just after like last little bit I had the other night, I find myself at peace. I haven't lost that peace, which is a giant fucking red flag for me, because I'm like, okay, why is it changing all of a sudden? And I realize, oh, well, that's because the real shakeup is about to come through with this message. And there's some element of this that apparently even though I really understand from my perspective all the way through, that I'm going to be really surprised. I mean, I don't know. So, I don't know, right? I don't know. But, okay, the fact that I realized this brought me so much greater peace too. And then, that's kind of when I got that one clip of you that I added in the beginning, right? Here's I'm like, oh, so as I was getting better, you were getting worse than I ever seen, right? Okay, well, that seems like a double confirmation as that all this shit is happening, right? So, okay, so, oh, I see. Because, like, there's been so many instances here throughout this last 6 months plus in particular where I was facing a really, really hard decision to make. Because I was staring to motherfucking death. That if I stopped working to focus on myself, that I would just not have enough money, and I'm getting some sort of real nasty pickle because I had certain things I thought I needed, right? I thought I still needed to go to the fucking online sabbatical clinic every month here because I would get praised for being on time, blah, 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 and oh my God, if I might run out at some point. I might, even though I had like, I don't even know how many hundreds extras left over, right? Or I was so addicted to this fucking nicotine vapes, like, oh my God, I can't get into this right now, but like, I kind of feel like, oh my God, the vapes are so much worse than actual smoking because, the insidious nature of it, but that's another video down the line. You know, and I kind of lost the plot here a little bit. Oh my God, what's the point? But anyway, the point is, like, I finally got to the point where I realized something. I could win the motherfucking lottery. I could honestly get anything I could think to ask for up to that point, and realize this, right? And I realize everything but dealing with the fucking body circulation, aches and pains and uncomfortable things. Because my nerve pain that is already like on the base of it, like a fucking 4 or 5, every single waking moment I've had since like 2014 when I had woke up, went to coma, right? That goes up to like a 6 or 7 at least. Like my whole existence over the last 11 plus years here has been really, really painful, and like that's made all this a lot more difficult to deal with on top of everything else, because I was starting to feel a lot better when I finally hit that breaking point with my karmic alleged family here, right? And like the source was like, hey, you're focusing too much on saying quit, stop the drinking, start smoking again. He literally manifested a bunch of black and miles. He literally did that. Like, I had thrown all that shit out, and all of a sudden I see a bunch of them. Like, oh, when was that? Yeah, well, literally manifested here, right? Because he's been using it, right, but... And because of that, I felt so much worse than I would have if I just not, but I've been really, really... I gave up that quit. I quit. Like, this is the most insidious fucking position anyone can have, I think. Seriously, right? And it just was a fucking miracle that I was able to quit at all, given the fucking elements I had to deal with here, alright? But now, God's like, hey, give up the fucking quit. I'm like, why? That seems really dumb. No, trust me on this one. It's okay, fine. And I did, and, well, can I regret it? I regretted it a lot at stages here, but I know that when I actually am out of this situation here, I believe it when it said it's going to be like no death quit, because they're going to have plenty of stuff to distract you, and you're not going to want to skedaddle over there and like, because I don't want to smell like shit like that around you. Like, come on, man, But and that, it's like, I've had having to make these really, really scary situations that made me closer and closer and closer to the razor edge of it all falling apart. But it never, ever fell apart, because last second, for months now, there's always some answer, just like manifesting out of the fucking blue, that gets me just enough to get to the next stage of everything, right? So I've been dealing with your sort of fucking shit through this entire time here. Like, my fucking... I don't begrudge you for this, but your job in this twin flame connection is like... It's almost unexplainably easier than it might seem, right? But no, seriously, all you got to do is protect me, right? And that's really all you have to do, because I'm the idea person, right? And so you just do whatever the fuck I say as far as creativity, and you can do whatever, right? You can trust on that, I guess, right? But like, you're scared to give up that control here, right? I guess that's the big thing for you, whether you want to admit it or not, because you're afraid, because once you actually open this jar, your life won't be the same, that you'll have lost control, that you, I don't know, I guess you have trauma really related to this sort of thing in the past, which is understandable here, but so did I, and mine was way worse than yours, all I'm saying. No, I'm just messing with you. But, no, seriously, man, I deviated pretty heavily from what I was originally going to say. I guess I'm channeling what they think I should actually say to, get my message across. But, like, that's basically it here, You got to get to the point where the fear of the thing that you fear most is stronger than the fear that you have to make the hard decision, right? Because that hard decision is like The only blocks you have right now are genjutsu, man. They're fucking losing, dog. This is the last ditch effort of the devil, as it were, alright? Because he'll make you think the blocks that you used to have are still there, and you're so fucking tired, and you're so fucking exhausted, and you want to nothing but to just like throw in the towel and just say, fuck it, I don't care how amazing it is, it's not worth this uncertainty, alright, right? Here's the thing though, you never had any control. You never had any, right? Because you have the same fucking problem I do, right? You're so divinely blessed that God crafted you where you cannot even hope to ever disobey. Like, but the fucking urges I have to fucking do these things I've been doing and saying the things that I've been saying, even though I feel really, really subconscious about it after the fact, until I really just like do all I can to clear out that negative energy, and I realize, well, I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it, right? And I wouldn't say it unless it was true, right? At least on some level, right? And anyway, so I want you to think here, like, think about how every holiday, especially Halloween onward, has gotten progressively worse for you, right? Halloween had to be bad enough, and then Thanksgiving, and now Christmas, and you're trying to do that fucking Christmas concert, like, not even 2 days later, and like, and you're, like, in this short, everyone in the comments is like thinking that you're about to keel over, because no one has ever seen you like this, because you've never been like this, because you never felt like this, because this is a literal spiritual awakening, right? And let me tell you, this is a fire horse, alright? If you feel this bad during the year of the snake, how fucking bad do you think you're gonna feel when you're trying to ignore your most raw, base desire coded into your DNA, right? You're gonna get worse and worse and worse and worse, and you're barely functional. You're barely fucking functional as is right now. And you know it. You're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're probably not properly hydrating either, right? I mean, am I guessing? Probably, because it's all you can do to hold on against that fucking, that strong pull of your fucking soul that's trying to knock you off this fucking delusional platform you've been stuck on for a good while, right? And that initial plunge is always the hardest, but like, what helped me was realizing that why I was never in control. That's an illusion. That's your old self last ditch effort to trick you into thinking that you are like fucking, I don't know, as hopeless or helpless as you once were before you had me to support you and God support you and all this, that, and like, I don't know what else to say. I got kind of sidetracked here, but basically here, what I'm saying is like, oh, and I almost forgot the best part here. I forgot the part that really sealed the deal for me, right? So I told you all this so far, right? All this so far, but here's another thing. What my initial prediction was, like weeks and weeks ago, was I kept telling people that I was just so motherfucking convinced here that I was picking up on so many different energies that were saying that I was getting this message before the end of the year. At least the message, if not the visit, because I was getting all those fucking Christmas things too. But the Christmas miracle was that I got all these crazy downloads. And I realized I wouldn't be getting these downloads if I wasn't already to the next stage, because I knew I wasn't going to get any new information at all here until I was in that stage. And I realized all these big downloads, and realized there had been nothing but new information. Because like, before it was all either like, you got a soulmate, your life was horribly poor, and everyone in your life and family actually really hates you. secretly, and they've been spying on you, and blah, 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 right? Variations of that, over and over and over. Now I'm getting the bit that, oh, Yada's all your fucking past children. And I'm pretty sure that all the other men versus Big Monster are at least your children, because when you were King Sejong the Great, you had 22 kids, and only 10 of them came from me. So you were a little bit of a little sucky boxer there, and now you want to claim me as your own only. Like, that's a little bit greedy, unfair, I think. I don't know. Hey, chat, put F in the chat if you think I deserve my own harem and my waifus, right? I don't know, man. But like, no, seriously though, yeah, they are. And then like, oh, I'm pretty sure that like we have a bunch of like current like people like they're actively like fused in big in the screen, right? Like celebrities that are really, really impactful to everything, right? I'm saying that, like, you know, I said you were like past life Michael Jackson, because, you know, he has passed away, and he is, you know, certain well talking to me, you know, you're my dad. That's so funny. That's funny. That's funny as fuck, actually. You know, also I think you and him have the same oversoul, right? And then I'm pretty sure, like, for example here, I'm pretty sure I'm totally parting with, there's a lot of sense. I mean, there's a lot more than that. And huge fucking downloads like this. Like, and it's like, oh my god, well, that explains fucking everything, right? Okay. And this video is probably going to be so fucking long. I was not trying to do that to you. I'm sorry. But all this stuff has been pressing on me for a really long time here, and I meant to do this at least 12 hours ago. I don't know what time it is now, and I hope I can help my cousins away, because I had only one thing I was going to do other than make a video here, maybe. I wasn't even going to make that. I was not going to make any videos until I realized I had to, right? Because I think this is the one that actually pushes you over the edge. Because in the year of the fire first, how much you think you can, how far you think you can go, right? You know? Okay, I got distracted, I'm sorry. Okay, so 2025 has been almost beat for beat how my 2008 played out. I thought about it, you know, for the second half, but I thought about it more for the first half, and that shit clocks too. Okay? So, that just tells me, oh my god, this is like fucking, what's done is done. There's nothing new under the sun. And that kind of energy here, okay? And if that's the case, then technically speaking, the last time I ever saw my ex in real life was like the morning of January 1st, 2009. We had gone to see her for a few days out there in the mountains, and I picked her up from her house like really, really early, and then we chilled for a while in the hotel lobby, and then like eventually at around noon-ish or something, we took her home. I was crying, and oh, okay, it was so, because I knew that was the last time I ever gonna see her, because I ended up like breaking up with her in like less than 2 weeks from that, because she was horrible, and I don't want to talk about it, but like, okay, so I realized something that would be really, really fucking funny. I mean, I really doubt it's gonna happen like this, because God said I would never fucking, I'm gonna be surprised, and there's no fucking way you're gonna figure this out. But like, am I gonna jinx it by pointing it out? But like, you're like 12 hours, you're like 15 hours ahead California time, which is really funny because you're actually pretty close. No, so like, what could happen is like you somehow suffer through the New Year's Eve, and after considering just how much of this is affecting you, and how you definitely don't want to go another year without me, and you know you can't possibly fucking go another year without me, you finally got the courage as your fucking, maybe you're gonna make this your New Year's resolution that you're going to finally send me the fucking thing. Maybe that's how it goes. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But somewhere around maybe, I don't know, maybe 14 o'clock where you are, you finally snap and you just say whatever comes to mind and you send it and you don't worry about it until I respond, and then you're realizing, oh, that was so easy. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh my God, my poo, my queen, my twinsy, right? You know, I can see that, right? And then I'm waking up whenever I do, because I'm going to crash out soon and sleep like forever here, and I don't know, right? I don't think, what time is it over there? I don't know. But like, I can see myself like, just like, waking up like a little bit later and just like not even realizing I have this message, and then realizing like late in the afternoon, holy fucking shit, I messed it. Oh my God, she actually sent it. Because I got distracted and I didn't even check my message, because that's a very recent, regular thing that does happen. So I'm thinking, okay, well, what could happen is like you send this message like exactly like 17 years later from basically when the last time I'd ever seen IS, right? Or the time directly after, whatever. And then, like, technically, it's still 25 in California, and like, so it's drawn to California in a way that it's not drawn to any other state. For a bunch of reasons, mainly because I was a big motor star, and you know, whatever, right? Whatever. But that would still, like, make it so you only, for you, it's like, New Year. For me, it's technically not, and that's enough for me to be able to say, technically here, our anniversary is 2025, and 25 is such a much better number for us. Like, I don't like 26. 26 is like the worst 20 number. I said this already, and it would mean a lot to me to have that as a fucking, you know, anniversary year, because we can argue that, well, that's the connection works, so we count it then, but no, that's not real. But also, you can count this as my, official yes to whatever you say, because you know I'm going to say whatever, because oh, please accept, oh, bitch, I have no other choice. Not really. I can either exist on the frequency of hell, exist in pain over and over and over and over, or I can just accept the thing and actually be on my way. But here's the thing. I'm noticing that my ability to enunciate words correctly to a beat in rap, I rapped, right? I rap. I used to rap a lot, and then I had that brain injury. Have I ever told you this? I mean, I know you know I sing, but like, that's the whole thing. Like, him was like the biggest fucking influence for me here, and the fucking song of his that got me into his music wasn't even a good song. It was that song, fucking, it's like that. I'm like, of course, the one, and of course, the person that sings it to me has the same fucking oversoul as my fucking actual twin flame, like, right? I don't know, dude. I hope this video is not more than 3 videos long. I'm really not trying to give you a fucking documentary here. I had a whole ass fucking thing of things I had planned out basically what I was gonna say, but then they're like, hey, we want you to say this as well, and well, you know how this goes. Never, you know what? Be prepared. You know, living as a vessel of God is like being prepared, but not being attached. Because you need to be prepared to have something to do, but if Spirit gives you something better to do, you got to be good to fucking instant that shit and go from there. So yeah, you're cooked, sir. You're cooked the fuck in back, and I'm doing great. So whatever you decide, I'm gonna be fine no matter what. Because if it so happens that God was like, sight, that was a test. Having inherent is actually way better because you are king. I don't know, right? I could be convinced of this at this point because a lot of me, this whole thing is terrifying, right? I realized that, oh, I think I want a relationship because I want to get laid, but it turns out, no, I've been self-sabotaging each and every fucking chance I ever had to get laid over the last, 20 years or whatever, right? Because I was low-key scared to even engage with that. And that was you, right? That's you. You gotta convince me that I'm scared of this. Well, I don't know how exactly that works, but yeah, that's literally it. And that has made me the perfect vessel here for you to conquer, and yay for you. This is your last chance, by the way. If you have not, both communicated with me and gotten all of everything squared away between us, like have us be official on paper and online, everything else, like, because February is going to be a whole new fucking beast, right? Whole new fucking beast. So you and I need to be like linked up. This is the year of the chosen, and we're the leaders of the chosen of the world here. And you think God's going to let you go much longer without just basically forcing you to fucking push? I will push. Once that clock hits 12 over there, it's going to be like, boom, right? You're not going to be able to do this. And so I just, please, for your own sake, that short, I was really conflicted because on one hand, I hate to see you like that, but like, I really do, and I want to do whatever I can to help you feel better, but like, I've done like everything I can here. Like, I've gone out of my way to have this video. I don't think I really even necessarily needed to do this, but I wanted to do it because I thought, even if it's not necessary to get her to actually come through, if it can make it at least a bit easier for her, then like, you know what? I'm not actually petty here. I want you to, like, hurry up, sure, but like, I don't want you to suffer either. Even if I'm fine now, I don't want you to. I was like, whatever, man. I think I conveyed my part here. Hopefully the nice netizens will clip out the explanation I had. I don't know. It's a good explanation. I'm just really tired and kind of fried here. I'll be able to explain it better when I'm a little bit more robust in the search and everything. Watch me cry when this is an hour-long fucking video. I don't know. Oh my god, I just spoke into existence, didn't it? Oh my god, no. It was 42, 45. Oh my god, well, it's 3. I did say it's gonna, oh my god, the other video is gonna make it. Oh my, I gotta go. Love you, boo. I know you make the right decision. Alright, I got 10 seconds. What am I gonna say? You know what? It's gonna be like 43, 34 in total. That's a pretty base.